Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars on SI podcast. My name is John Shipley. I am your beat writer, and I've been covering the Jacksonville Jaguars for on SI every single day since August 2019. And we are continuing to march forward through yet another offseason together. Everybody, please excuse me for the lack of, podcasts over the last week or so. There's, been good things happening for Jaguars on SI. We are back. We are here rolling. We will have good friend, longtime co-host Gus Logue back on the show very, very soon. Whether that's a guest appearance, we'll figure it out. But we're back, as Kramer said to Jerry. I'm back. I mean, simply put, this is a Jaguars offseason that I've been fascinated to cover, really from the jump. Because the lack of a first-round pick being the second offseason of, the regime, but really that first full offseason. I mean, they were having to hit the ground running last year. Like, James Gladstone showed up at the Combine the day after his introductory press conference in Jacksonville. And free agency was not very far behind that. So I've been fascinated in this offseason for a number of reasons. We're going to continue to do exercises, continue to, look at different scenarios that the Jaguars could face as we move ahead to next week's draft. And one of those is the 4-round mock draft for the Jaguars, 3-round mock draft for the Jaguars that I did recently. Obviously no first-round pick, but in this instance, no problems. The Jaguars still have 4 day 2 picks. They have pick number 56, pick number 81, pick number 88, and pick number 100. So, let's just start things off right away. And I include trades and mocks from time to time, but I kept this straight up. They're 4 original picks. Let's see where things go from there. And with the number 56 pick, I really believe this is kind of a best case scenario for the Jaguars, at least one of them. Like, I think Caleb Banks, obviously, is the best case scenario. Zion Young, we saw it got reported that they zoomed with San Diego State cornerback Chris Johnson. Obviously, he'd be fantastic. The Jaguars are in such a position where, best player available is such a fallacy and such a myth in many cases. The Jaguars can really go by it. They lost 4 starters in free agency, but Greg Newsome's already replaced by Travis Hunter. Andrew Wingard's already replaced by somebody, whether that be Antonio Johnson, whether that be Caleb Ransaw, whether that be Rayon Lane. They're good. They're good at safety. Devin Lloyd, maybe they'll draft one, but Ventrell Miller, it's pretty clear that they have some faith in him at this point. They haven't made a move. And they signed Chris Rodriguez, their running back. And they have Bayshal Tuden and LaQuinn Allen already on the roster. In terms of, spots missing from last year's roster, they're filled. They can earnestly address some positions much earlier than I think people anticipate. And I know we talked about offensive line in that regard, but to me, outside of just getting a legit first-round talent like a guy like Chris Johnson falls, I think having one of these edge guys, and it's a deep edge class. These guys are going to go early, but I think having one of these edge guys at 56 is probably as close as you can get to a real best-case scenario. For me, I give the Jaguars somebody at 56 that I've given them several times. Somebody, I know who is a scout for a team, compared him to Zadarius Smith when I talked about him with them a couple weeks ago. Illinois edge Gabe Akers. Akers is, a 2-time captain, super productive senior, really good against the run, really active with his hands, known to be a tenacious guy on the field, has the leadership, can play outside linebacker if they want to stand him up. And we've been talking about this for years. The Jaguars just haven't drafted many pass rushers. But when the Jaguars do finally get somebody who can be a legitimate, okay, we feel comfortable this guy being across from Josh Allen on passing down, they can move Trayvon Walker inside more on third downs. And he dominated from that role last season. Gabe Akis, I think, would get the Jaguars out. He can work into the rotation against the run, but I think on third down, he brings the pass rush know-how, he brings the energy, he brings the violence that the Jaguars like in their prospects. I think that he really would be a fantastic fit for them at number 56. And before I go to the next couple of picks, I'll say after I did this mock, I came away thinking this is one of the most like Jaguars mocks, like feeling like, okay, I can really much so see them like loving a class like this just because it's a lot of violent, physical players. I mean, James Gladstone said, if you don't block or tackle, they probably aren't going to like you very much. And Akis is definitely a violent player. Next, pick number 81, third round. Is this a bit of a reach by the consensus board? Absolutely. But I'll watch the tape. I'm a big fan of this guy. I would feel comfortable taking him in the third round and developing him to be a future, potential starting tackle. And that is Miami offense tackle Markel Bell. I mean, played at community college first couple years, transferred to Miami, plays pretty much every single snap of their, run last season at left tackle. 6'9", 36-inch long arms. He's absolutely massive. And if you look at the offensive linemen and offensive tackles the Jaguars have added since this regime got here, those are the kind of guys they look at. If you look at even the guys that they've touched base with, it's giant human beings with really long arms. And I think Bell has the athleticism, the balance, the natural, ability to finish as a run blocker. I think he is somebody who, like, if he hits his ceiling, he's a $100 million offensive tackle. And the Jaguars, I really do think, Cannon should draft an offensive lineman early on at some point. I mean, Cole Van Lanen coming off his injury. I think Walker Little is better than I think most people give him credit for, but it's at least worth considering. The next spot, third round, pick number 88. I gave them Florida State Seminoles defensive tackle Darrell Jackson Jr. Now, this is about the range I expect Jackson to go in. I really like him as a player. He's violent, as has been a theme, with this group of guys. But, I mean, you just look at his build, long arms, massive player, knows how to play with an edge, can set the tone at the line of scrimmage, can reset the line of scrimmage, can stack blocks and get off of them. The only thing is not a lot of sacks, not a lot of tackles for loss. I did think he showed some promise as a pass rusher. Like, I think he can push the pocket. I think he can get some pressures. But I'm not sure he's ever going to be a big impact play guy. With that said, I mean, he's mean. He's tough. He's gritty. Add him, I think, to the defensive tackle rotation. And like I said, I think he gives you more pass rush upside than, say, like a Devon Hamilton. And he can immediately come in and, take snaps, be Devon Hamilton's backup because they need a backup nose tackle. I mean, these are all traits that I think the Jaguars would really value. I think Anthony Campanile would absolutely love this guy. I truly do. Lastly, I went with Ohio State tight end Will Kachmarek. Now, he is much more of a kind of pure blocker, I'd say. I think he has obviously not the athleticism that you're looking for in somebody to kind of be an impact, tight end that we've talked about to a degree that maybe the Jaguars want to look at. I think other tight ends have more juice. But, I mean, he has reliable hands. He's good in contested situations. He can be a security blanket. And he might be the best blocking tight end in the class. When the Jaguars talk about, setting that tone and looking for guys to play with edges, he's one of the guys in this draft who I think of. I mean, he's an absolute dog as an inline tight end. I think Liam Cohen could get really creative with him in the running game. I mean, two tight end sets, he probably isn't providing you a ton of pass value outside of, being a check down or a security blanket. But him and Brendan Strange as two tight ends, and add Quinn Morris to the mix, that is a violent and physical tight end room when it comes to blocking. So those are my latest mock selections. Please stick around with us, guys, Make sure you like us on Facebook, on Twitter. You can go find me on our YouTube at John Shipley, the Jacksonville Jaguars on SI podcast. We'll be back next time.